Yo, what's up? Let's talk about the good things and the bad things about the Toyota Supra. As you can see, I haven't started anything on this car yet. Shit. Now, I did get a whole box full of OEM parts from Toyota, but I'll save that for the end of the video if anybody wants to stick around and see what's actually in this box. But it's just a bunch of OEM parts, so some people get excited about that, some people don't. Personally, I kind of like getting OEM parts. Alright, so the good and the bad of the Toyota Supra. I mean, I think everybody knows all the good qualities of this car. It's got a great engine, looks great, great transmission if you have the OEM 6-speed. I mean, these cars hold their value like pretty much nothing else out there, and nowadays are even going up in value. So did I mention how good they look? So I think the positives are easy to see about this car, but what about the downside? I don't think a lot of people talk about the downside of these cars and owning these cars or trying to buy one of these cars. And the biggest downside is their age. These cars are getting old. I mean, the newest one you can buy in the United States is 1998, which is now 20 years old. Unless you found one that was meticulously maintained, you're gonna have to do a bunch of maintenance once you buy this car. And in addition to all the maintenance, since these cars are getting so old, a lot of the OEM parts aren't being manufactured anymore. So let's say you got hit in the rear, any other cars buy a new bumper. Well, for this car, discontinued. I think even the early year 93 to 96 bumpers are discontinued. I think you can still get the 97 to 98, but even those are becoming harder and harder to find. So depending on the age of this video, those might be discontinued as well. I mean, OEM 6-speeds discontinued. Little things like you think, oh, I'm gonna buy a car that may have the dash that's damaged a little bit, but guess what? Pretty much every panel in the interior is discontinued. Try to find nice door panels, like good luck with that. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're trying to buy one of these cars. Sometimes buying a cheaper car that might need some work might turn into a nightmare if you can't actually find or buy the parts you need to complete it. Especially the interior, that should be one of your priorities, is to find one that has a pretty complete interior, or one that isn't so messed up that it's going to take you forever to find all the parts to put back together. Like the OEM 6-speed being discontinued isn't that big of a deal anymore. I think people are starting to do the T56 swap, which is supposedly just as strong as the OEM 6-speed, but some people don't like to put the non-Toyota transmission in the car. And as far as value goes, if you care about keeping the value of the car, I mean, original OEM 6-speed inside these cars is always going to pull a better price than one that has been swapped. And at heart, these cars are still a 90s Toyota. Like, if you get inside one, it's very Spartan inside. There's not a lot going on. It's very simple inside. There's not a lot to do. I think people see the price tag of these cars, and once you get one, you realize that you're not getting a whole lot as far as luxury goes when you're paying the prices these cars go for. I mean, performance-wise, it's a great value, because the engine in this car it's a tuner's dream. Aftermarket support is ridiculous. Pretty much you can do whatever you want with this car once you get it, but as far as being comfortable and having any kind of a creature comforts, like it doesn't have heated seats, navigation, backup cameras, keyless entry, like all that stuff, you're not going to find that in these old Toyotas. But I also think that's the appeal of these cars, because they are so old, they're so analog. Like, driving this car and then getting into my BMW M235 is like a night and day difference. I mean, they're both nice cars, but they have two completely different feels. Like, even when this thing was stock, like I'm comparing like my stock M235 to a stock twin turbo Supra, they're still completely different animals. Driving one of these cars makes you feel more like you're in control of it and it's not controlling you, if you get kind of where I'm going with that saying. I mean, if you've ever been in one, you'll understand, but if you've never driven one, it's kind of hard to explain. But it's really like any older car. It just feels like you're driving the car, and it's not a bunch of systems that are helping you drive it. But I hope that isn't enough to scare you away from trying to buy one of these cars, or even if you own one, selling it because of all the parts that are being discontinued and shit like that. I mean, at the end of the day, this car is currently a legend and will stay a legend. As a Supra owner, you get very excited when you get OEM parts. So this is a weather strip that I need because this is on the driver's side. The current one has some fraying, so this should clean up the interior even more than it already is. So we have that. What else we got in here? Extra bubble wrap. So we also got new water pump. I'm not even sure if I need this gasket or not, but I bought it anyways. Water pump. Plus we got a bunch of some shit here. Bunch of new seals, new cam seals. Thermostat. There should be a front main seal in here. I don't know why, but anytime I get new interior parts, it's just amazing to see what a Supra would look like from the factory with these brand new parts. But a new e-brake handle. Also got the new idler pulley. This one should be the tensioner. That's the thermostat. That's the tensioner. So now I should have all the parts I need to finally take apart the top end of this motor and take off pretty much the whole front end of the motor to redo all the timing components, do the water pump while I'm in there, thermostat, all the little maintenance items, do the new cam seals, front main seals, so should be good to go.